I would like to invite Nikolay Alexeev. Sasha Shostakova is going to help him. So, Voronezh Center is one of the most well-known initiatives that has been in place for a long time, and it has attracted a lot of attention. First of all, I would like to say hello. My name is Nikolay Alexeev. I'm the chair of the board of Voronezh Regional Educational Organization Center for Contemporary Art. After Nizhny Tagil, I wanted to tell you something funny, but maybe it's too difficult now to tell you something funny after Nizhny Tagil, because this is the first time I found out about their gallery. It was very interesting. I can say that it's much more boring in our place. I want to start from something far. I don't know what Nizhny Tagil had before they appeared. As to our city, the story related to contemporary art started very early with Nikolay, who was born in Voronezh. And then after the 19th century, in the 20th century, many artists were sent in exile to Voronezh. For example, Mandelstam, Harms was in exile in Kursk, which was close to Voronezh. Nikolay Fyodorov, Vidensky were there. There were congresses that Dostoevsky wrote about. Then Vkhutemas was opened in the center of the city in the 1920s. An excellent artist, Romanovsky, taught there, and we have some paintings that were created by him. Then we had works by Malevich, Kandinsky, Rodchenko that were used as teaching aid, but it was all destroyed during the Second World War. This is one of the versions, and the second version was that it was sold out during 70s and 80s. But anyway, the result is that nothing has been left, so we don't have it anymore. And it means that we have had a very old story. You probably, if you don't know, that Voronezh is located somewhere between Rostov and Moscow. For example, people from Krasnodar has to spend 12 hours going by train to Moscow, and it takes us only about 8 hours to come from Voronezh here to Moscow. So it's not very far from Moscow, but it's not Moscow. So, but we have a favorable geographic position, because everybody can come to Moscow, see something, and go back. So we never never had some empty space. We had excellent artists in the 50s and 60s. Then we had a whole movement of naive art in the 80s and 90s. For example, Vanya Gorshkov's father, Sergei Gorshkov, was an outstanding figure. He also had his works exhibited in Europe, and he's from Voronezh. So some things did happen, and it's not that we started from scratch. But our generation didn't know anything about it, because the culture department, the local culture department, never told us about this. We never studied it at school. So this was a blank sheet for us. We found out about all those things much later. Irina Kulik always asks, what's the first work of art that you saw in your life? Of course, there were some magazines, for example, Young Artist magazine that published Jasper Jones and said how horrible he was. But I never really I had never seen any works. But then Kostya Moshkin, an opera singer, and my friend brought me to see this happening that took place around the House of Pioneers. So nothing happened. We were waiting there for 30 minutes, for 40 minutes. Then they distributed some pieces of paper with some very sophisticated, difficult to understand text. And then 40 minutes later, Arseny, Zhiliaev, and Illya Gorshkov came out with blown up rabbit or hair, and that was it. So this was the first piece of art that I saw in my real life. So we met, so we got to know each other, and we were born in the same year, and this like пограничные исследования, borderline studies took place in different apartments, and Alexander Sinozirsky is a poet, and he had a father, and so he was working for secret police, and so it was full of documents. So we opened the Cheka gallery when Mamleev was in coma. We had an action happening related to that coma, when you had to get through different walls, different holes. So it was a closed hermetic society. And the history of the Center for Contemporary Art was very complex, because, for example, пограничные исследования, borderline studies, opened a center not far from Petino, and Petino is close to Orlovka with psychiatric mental hospital, and so it was a pumping station that they used as their headquarters. So they showed different paintings in art povera style, and they put a sign, Center for Contemporary Art, but after it finished, they burnt it. So it just existed there for several hours, and then it was burned down. Then later on, our events were visited by Alexey Gorbunov, who was the director of video rental office. And he told us suddenly that he wanted to open the Gallery for Contemporary Art. And he did open the Gallery for Contemporary Art a year later, and became the most famous gallery owner from Voronezh. So we started working with this gallery, we signed contracts with them, and did some crazy exhibitions there. And at some point, I had an impression that it was like a Chapiteau show, the circus of crippled people. And you know, the situation in the province with contemporary art is like when you do art alone. Everybody thinks that what you're doing is art, because nobody has seen anything different. And of course, everybody understands that art can be very different, can be better or worse. But all these people, the viewers, the visitors that came to the gallery, they thought that contemporary art was only like that. So it's like a group of people was doing something funny, so you go there, you have some wine, so you make fun. And we wanted to create an institution that would cause competition, because it's very important to show how different art can be. And so we wanted to open our own Center for Contemporary Art. Misha Orlov is now living in Germany, so he agreed with local trading center. Actually, it's a super luxury department store of elite residential building. So they had like dozens of thousands of square meters, and they wanted to sell it. So we said that we were going to make an exhibition. So they were going to use it as a chance to show all kinds of premises and places that they had. So we had the exhibition entitled «Дальше действовать будем мы», we are going to act now. And this is a line from a famous song. Nobody knew Taus Makhacheva, Sasha Sukhareva, Anya Titova, Valentina Tkach and others. And despite that, it was a super cool place with DJs, with pythons, with black guys wearing some animals, skins. So still the art wasn't really anything worth looking at, something that we call new boring ones. For example, I used construction rubbish, construction waste, and I would just move this pile of rubbish from one place to another. But the most shocking work for everyone was the work by Sasha Sukhareva, and it was scandalous, notorious, because it sort of shared avian water and a cocktail under the umbrella. You should stick to the time limit, and I want you to tell us about the course for a young artist and how you got the existing building. Well, in one of the photos, you saw the posters that announce educational programs, and we thought that it would be great to create a real institution with lectures and roundtables, and so that we could establish an art community. And of course, we had to give lectures and teach everyone. We had a director of a fashionable music club, nightclub, and so he let us come to his nightclub and give lectures, and they had lots of leather sofas, and so you imagine it was a nightclub. There was not enough space for everyone, so people were just standing there. And we also used an innovative PR method. It was then when the social network Vkontakte appeared, and robots, invited people to come to our events, and there were thousands of invited people. So we were giving lectures on contemporary art throughout the year. And at some point we understood that this was not very effective, because it wasn't really clear what kind of people come to us. Like today we have one people, next day we have others, and we organized a meeting on how to become a contemporary artist without any trouble. So those people that were really interested in art came to that meeting, and we offered them a course for a young artist. And now we have dozens of people that are studying in different art schools abroad, and some of them exhibited their works in different international biennials, 2 students at least. But as I can see, you like to exaggerate the reality. Okay, I'll say briefly how we got that building. So there is a local Department of Culture. They get like millions of rubles, and they hold and they hold different events, they organize different festivals, theatrical festivals, and so the new governor comes and says, oh, we invest millions, but the federal press doesn't write anything, nobody knows about this. So, and then we see that Voronezh artists got awards from Kandinsky Award, some other awards. They sell a lot of things, and so you can see so many times the Voronezh artists mentioned in different mass media. So why do we spend millions if there are just 3 people that can do it much better? So what do you need, guys? We need a space, so they gave us a space. So we should probably finish here. And I wanted just to ask you one last question. Do you think Voronezh Center for Contemporary Art influenced the perception of art in the city, and whether it had any impact on the understanding of contemporary art? No, I don't think so. I think it changed the life of 10 to 20 people's lives. Okay, so we should probably stop here with this positive remark. Thank you.